NFL Week 4 is here, and we are back with another edition of Game Day Gambles over here on the KC Sports Authority podcast. He's Greg. I'm Keegan. Welcome into the show. If you haven't done so yet, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button below. Make sure you are coming back every week for college football and NFL best bets and plays that we have for you, as we're all looking to make money this college football and NFL betting season. Last week in the NFL, we went 6-2 on our plays. Our two losses, Texans and Saints, which I think kind of surprised a lot of people last week with how those games went. And then Greg and I kind of split the Chiefs game. But overall, 6-2. We're on a roll between college football and NFL. We're getting close to a 70% success hit rate right now. So love that. So make sure you are checking back with us every single week for our plays so you can make money alongside with us. Let's get into NFL Week 4. I mentioned this in our college football episode this week, which if you haven't checked out already, make sure you go do so. College football's got an insane slate of games this weekend. NFL, it's got some good ones. I don't feel as excited about this weekend from the NFL perspective. Not a lot of conviction in some of my plays this week as far as that many, but I do have a couple games here. I want to start with one of the first games of the day. Saints on the road at the Falcons. The Falcons dropped to the Chiefs this last weekend, Sunday Night Football. A lot of people nationally had them to not only upset the Chiefs, or not only to cover against the Chiefs, but to upset the Chiefs. And that didn't happen. The Saints, however, after their super impressive win against the Cowboys, drop one late to the Eagles, kind of in a disappointing fashion. They should have won that game. So two teams that are looking to bounce back into the win column. Saints, 2.5-point road underdog. This is my first play of the day, and I like the Saints to bounce back and to cover this and have them win. So I take Saints plus 2.5 against the Falcons.
Yeah, I am against you on this one. I like the Falcons at home, given the 2.5. I think they played a great game Sunday night. I think they won the game. They got screwed. We already talked about that. Your team cheated. They got away with it. It's fine. I get it. We move on. My only issue with that whole game in the Falcons last week was I just don't understand why, after they didn't get the PI call, take the 3, kick it off, use your timeouts, get the ball back, you win the game by 1. I that was the only part I didn't get. I think that was a big miss by the coaching. That just trust your D, go down 2, try to get the ball back, win the game by 1. I don't know why they laid it all on the line on 4th and 6.
And why run laterally?
I don't get it. I thought that was a terrible decision.
Bad coaching.
It was bad coaching, but I think the Falcons showed their team that can play with the best. They were right there and probably should have won that game. I think the Chiefs know they got away with one last week. Give me the Falcons to bounce back against the Saints.
Yeah, Chiefs tend to do that. They get away with a lot of games that they probably throughout the game you look at going, we should be losing this game, but somehow they pull it out. That's what the Chiefs do in the regular season. But yeah, I think this is going to be a fun game. Again, two teams that the Saints, we've seen them put up a ton of points, and then we've also seen them struggle. The Falcons, I think each game Kirk Cousins gets a little bit more comfortable. We saw Darnell Mooney get involved quite a bit. We've seen Drake London get involved a bit more. Kyle Pitts still isn't getting the targets, but when he is getting targeted, he's making a big chunk play. Bijan's obviously going to have a heavy workload. So I love this matchup. Alvin Kamara versus Bijan Robinson, who's going to go out there and go bigger. This could be a fun one to watch to start the day. So we split there, one of us on each side of the line there. So bet responsibly. Maybe if you can find, we haven't ever talked about this on this episode or on these podcasts, but if you want to get into some betting strategy stuff, if you go out and find the right types of books, maybe you can hedge your bets there, take one on each side. Because as we're talking here, even though the Falcons are 2.5 on a lot of books, on FanDuel right now, it's a 1.5 point. So maybe you can find a play there on each side to walk away with something regardless. My next other play that I kind of like watching just because of how the team seasons are going so far is Bengals on the road at Panthers. Bengals, one of the 0-3 teams who look not honestly as bad as their records suggest. Their defense has been okay at times. Their offense has been at times. A lot of talk coming out of Cincinnati right now on who's to blame for the 0-3 start. A lot of people are tired of the excuses on Joe Burrow and that, he's always got somebody injured or this and that. Well, he's got his weapons back. He's got just about everybody to play this weekend. The Panthers, however, after their abysmal 0-2 start, they throw the journeyman, the redheaded vet, and Andy Dalton. So give me the Panthers plus 4.5 at home. Andy Dalton against his own team. Deontay Johnson has woken up. He is getting the ball a lot in this game. just like Jamar Chase is going to be on the other side. So let me ride with the Panthers again, who won me a ton of money this last weekend as the upset play. Let me have them upset again. The Bengals look terrible. I don't trust them. Give me the Panthers.
Yeah, no, I don't have a play in this game, but if I did, I'm not betting Cincy. Let me just leave it at that. I don't trust them. I mean, if you're telling me pick a 0-3 team, maybe I go there. I don't know. I don't trust them. Is Carolina good? They were good last week. Are they going to be good 2 weeks in a row? I don't know. This game for me, I looked at it and threw it right out. I can't even pick a side here. I don't trust either team, and I certainly don't trust Cincinnati's defensive schemes. So
yeah, it was one of the few games I looked at from the spread of the home team's perspective as the underdog and went at home with the way they played last week. Not trying to, don't want it to be a complete overreaction that just because they looked really good last week that they're going to do it again this week. But Andy Dalton is clearly a competent quarterback, and if he's going to get the offensive game as up to speed as it looked last week, even though the Bengals have a pretty interesting defense, he's going to torch that secondary. So this could be a high scoring game. I still see the Bengals getting to 20 plus points, but if the Panthers get to 20 plus points at home, I'll take them there. Okay, I got two other plays, but let me kick it over to you. What do you got for the day?
Next spot I'll go is give me Vegas after getting embarrassed to bounce back. I like them giving 2 at home against that Browns team. I don't think the Browns are very good. Like I said, I think that's probably the worst contract in the history of the league.
History of sports, maybe.
Yeah, in sports, you're probably right. Probably in sports. So I think Vegas will be focused. I think Crosby on defense is going to get his team ready because he just looked pissed at that game. So I think they'll be focused. The NFL is a week-to-week league. Look, everyone's talented. They wouldn't be in this league if they weren't. I think the team sometimes that shows up with focus can win. That's why they say any given Sunday. Mm-hmm. I think Vegas comes out pissed off, wins this game. I don't think the Browns are good, and I don't think they're a motivated team.
Yeah, this is why I didn't want to touch this game because I think both teams look disgusting. Zamir White hasn't been able to do much. Gardner Minshew's been Brock Bowers is getting involved each week. Devontae Adams still Devontae Adams. The Browns still have a pretty good defense, but my goodness, they look terrible against the Giants, who also won me a lot of money last week when I parlayed the Panthers and Giants together. Both upset picks there. So this is one I'm not going to touch. The line's so close that I think again this could be one that if you're parlaying in with a couple other things maybe, but this to me screams ugly. But yeah, I do like your analysis though. Vegas bouncing back after having a terrible game last week. So yeah, give me the advantage to the home team for sure. All right, what else you
got? Next one I'll go to is I'm going to take a shot on the road here, which normally I won't do with low spreads. I usually lean to the home team, but I'm going to take a shot with Tennessee giving 1 at Miami. Look, I liked Miami. I had them in a couple teasers last week. I thought they would keep it close with Seattle. I did not realize that their quarterbacks couldn't throw the ball, so that kind of negates the receiving advantage they have on most teams. Can't have Hill do much if you can't get him the ball, if you can't throw it over 10 yards. So I think with Waddle and Hill basically being non-factors because they don't have a QB and having to rely on A-Chain the whole game, I think Tennessee has a decent defense. They'll clog the middle up. They'll take that runaway real quick. I think they showed us they can move the ball. I think Levis goes through periods of where he looks really good and where he looks like he isn't reading the defense and tries to force it. But I think in this spot, Tennessee's going to get out of there with a win, probably by 3 points. But I like them, and I will take them.
So if I told you, if you didn't know this already, that Miami picked up a quarterback this week that can run the football the way they envisioned Tua could, does that change anything for you? No. Even though he's probably only going to have 2 days of practice. And that's Tyler Huntley. They picked up Tyler Huntley this week who can run the ball. To me, this is Devon A-Chain's getting 25 touches. Like if he doesn't, then that's coaching malpractice because your quarterback's not going to be able to do much. They better figure out how to line up Tyreek Hill in a jet sweep to get him involved or just run 5-yard slants all day. That's the guy. Oh, what an ugly Monday Night Football game, first off. But yeah, Tennessee could be one of the 0-3 teams to get their first win this weekend, despite that they don't look that great yet. Will Levis can sling it. It might go to his receiver. It might go to a safety or a cornerback, but he can sling it.
But he can throw it,
and he will. That gets you further than a quarterback that can't throw it. So I'm okay with that one there too.
Next up for me and is the Pack. I'm taking the Packers whether Love's playing or not. I think the Vikings have been a very nice story. I think they're a good, solid 3-0 team. I think they showed us all their back. I think Sam Darnold is showing he can play quarterback in this league. I think a big reason that he sucked and he didn't suck, but when he was with the Jets, he had poor coaching. He had no receivers. He's give him a couple of receivers in a running game, and this guy can play in this league. So, with all that said, I think the Packers have looked great. And with Love or without Love, I think they're a good football team. They're tough at home. Give me the Packers to win and the Vikings to have a little bit of a letdown after these two back-to-back big victories that no one really saw coming.
Yeah, and for me, that's the reason why I don't want to bet this, because I feel like there's two sides of this. America's going to go, man, the Vikings are 3-0. They're cooking. Let's bet them. And then the other half's going to go, the Vikings are 3-0. Let's slow down. The Packers at home. So this one I think is going to be a real interesting matchup. That's why for me, I am waiting until I know what's happening with Jordan Love, because I don't think Malik Willis, despite that he's looked decent, he really hasn't had to throw the ball a lot. And Brian Flores has had a very impressive 3-week stretch with his defense. So until I know for sure if Jordan Love, and shoot, seriously, as we're talking here, it just went from 2.5 to -3. So until I know for sure Jordan Love is playing, and if with that line moving kind of suggests that, I'm going to hold off on placing an official bet. But if I do, it's probably going to be on the Packers to win this game at home.
So here's the point you just made, and it's a good one, but I'm gonna go a little further. Let me tell you what's going to happen. I've given you the trap game of the week, and I've been right every week. This is your trap game this week. The American public is going to line up around the corner to take the Vikings +3, and your professional gamblers are going to line up around the corner to bet the Packers. I will side with Vegas and the pros. I'll take the Packers. Most people will be scratching their head going, I can't believe the Vikings lost by 10. That's what will happen this week. This will ruin everyone's week and everyone's teasers, because they'll start teasing the Vikings up. They'll do all this stuff.
There's no way this undefeated team can't cover at least 3 points.
Correct. And the Packers will play a great game.
Yeah. I think that's a good take there for sure. Yeah, anything else you got? I obviously one of the games we're going to obviously talk about is Chiefs at Chargers for local fans, but my other play is the Sunday night game. So do you want to do anything else before we get to Sunday night game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're because let's start. I'm sorry. I should throw this up on the screen here. Let's go to our game of the week. Game of the week play. One team that is 3-0, one team that's had a rocky start but is starting to put the pieces together, and that is Steelers on the road against the Colts. Why is this your game of the week?
Well, it's kind of for what you said. I think the Colts have shown signs of being a decent team. Richardson's made some bad mistakes that have cost them dearly, but I think the defense has played decent. I think they've shown they can be competitive, especially at home. The Steelers are not going 17-0. They're going to lose a couple games, and I think this is just a bad spot for the Steelers and probably the right spot for the Colts at home. So I will take the Colts plus the 1.5 to get past the Steelers. And close game.
Yes, I do like this being super close. You got two mobile quarterbacks. Justin Fields is starting to get a little bit more confidence, getting George Pickens a little bit more involved. But the fact that they had to get Calvin Austin on a 65-yard over the middle catch and 40-yard run to get the touchdown, they still can't put up a ton of points yet. Colts have an interesting defense. They control the ground game at home. I think this is going to be another interesting one. I think it'll probably be a little bit low scoring. I think Mike Tomlin, like we said every single week, is an incredible coach and never gets enough credit. But yeah, Colts at home, again, advantage, just slight edge to the home team. Could be the first 3-0 team to lose. Any other plays? I know I didn't mention it, but Eagles Bucks is another interesting matchup.
Yep. I like the Eagles there. I lean Eagles. I mean, I wouldn't go crazy on that game. I think it's a fun game. I think it'll be competitive, but I think the Eagles are probably the more complete football team at this point, and I'll roll with the Eagles on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how you said NFL's week to week for sure. Last week, no confidence in the Eagles. They figure out how to get it done. Buccaneers, impressive win against the Lions, then get blown out by the Broncos, which I don't think anybody saw coming.
Nope.
That's why, again, I don't have a conviction on this play yet because I think both teams are hungry to keep going, which should make it a very competitive game. So I do think whichever line you want to go here, it's going to be close. I mean, the NFL most weeks, unless there's always the abnormal team that goes out and stomps, but majority of these NFL games seemed week by week are less than a 6.5 point spread, less than a touchdown. So I am fine either way on this one. I think Eagles could go and win on the road. I think Baker could also bounce back. I think the Eagles need this win more than Tampa Bay, so maybe they're a little bit more focused. But again, I still like that edge to the home team. So I think if I end up officially betting this, I think Tampa Bay covers at home. Okay.
All right, Sunday night
Football. One of the most anticipated matchups of the year. Two MVP caliber quarterbacks against each other. The Bills look impressive. The Ravens have won a few games, lost a game they shouldn't have, lost two games they shouldn't have. Bills 2.5 point road dog in Baltimore. I've got a lot of thoughts on this game, but let me start with your opinions.
So I like the Ravens in this spot. I think it's a good spot for them coming home after the win in Dallas. They've had a fourth quarter collapse, which cost them a game. Like you said, they lost a game they never should have lost to. So they're 1-2. Bills are 3-0. Again, this comes down to kind of how I look through the season, right? The Ravens, we know, are a Super Bowl favorite coming out, right? They're going to win their games. They're going to get to 10, 11 wins. The Bills are, like I said before with other teams, Bills aren't going 17-0, everyone. They're a great team. They're a good team. They're a playoff team, but they're not going to win every game. For me, this is a game that they probably will lose. So I'm going to take the Ravens in a very competitive game to get the win.
So the Bills had an impressive blowout pretty much going last week. Josh Allen, to me, is the front runner for MVP. Lamar's the most talented player in the league, I think, from the quarterback position. Harbaugh, fantastic coach. Their defense is always solid. But the way Josh Allen's slinging the ball offensively, throwing it, I just don't see. I mean, Mark Andrews has been a non-factor. Likely had his one breakout game. Zay Flowers has been okay. Bateman's getting a little bit of look. So unless it's Lamar running the ball or Derrick Henry along the goal line, I just don't see their offense putting up enough points. Now, their defense is certainly capable of slowing Buffalo down, but Josh Allen can throw a 70-yard touchdown any given moment. And Keon Coleman looked good last week. Khalil Shakir is super consistent. Dalton Kincaid's getting a little bit more involved. So I think if Buffalo can control the ground game on their side and get James Cook active, get Josh Allen up and running, and kind of control the possession here, I think that plays to their advantage because I think Lamar tends to play a little shaky when there's like I think Josh Allen performs better under pressure than Lamar if that's where I want to go with it. So I think I like Buffalo plus 2.5 on the road. They look good. Losing Stephon Diggs has made their offense a little bit more balanced. Losing Gabe Davis, same thing. They basically replaced that. Their defense is. We said it last week. They're a bend but don't break, so they might let Lamar run for 150 yards, but if they're holding him to field goals, Buffalo could win this thing 24-17, 21-20. So yeah, give me Buffalo plus 2.5.
Just remember week 1, how the Cards looked in Kyler Murray. I think you're going to see similar this week, except now it's on the road. I think Baltimore's defense at home can make a couple more stops. That's why I'm going with the Ravens.
Well, and the other thing we didn't bring up is now this year he hasn't done it yet, but Josh Allen is prone to the big time turnover in a prime time moment. He hasn't done it really this year yet, but if this is a team to set up for that, it is the Ravens. Yeah. I think we're probably splitting hairs because I could easily be talked into Ravens, but the way Josh Allen's playing, I think Josh Allen can overcome that. So this will be a super fun game to watch Sunday Night Football. I'll be curious to see if this line moves at all over the next 24 to 48 hours because it looks like for the most part everyone's healthy on both sides, the majority. I think Ronnie Stanley's a little banged up for their left tackle, which isn't good, but Lamar runs anyway, so the left tackle is going to be behind him. But yeah, interesting game. Okay, let's end with Chiefs Chargers. This one, the Chargers are going to be potentially without everybody, which has it all set up for a monster win for the Chiefs as a 7-point favorite on the road, which tells me to take the Chargers to cover. This is a division game. The Chiefs should blow them out, but this game is always ugly. It could be Taylor Heineke back there. It could be Easton Stick back there. It doesn't matter. The Chargers are going to find a way to keep this close. I think Harbaugh keeps it close. The Chiefs have done pretty well, though, against the run game, against holding the team's top rushing running back, maybe not quarterbacks, but rushing running back to a low level. But this is going to be ugly. Joey Bosa's banged up. Joe Alt's probably going to miss. Rashawn Slater might miss. Derwin James, unless his appeal goes through, he's going to miss this game, so they don't have their Kelsey stopper. I still think Kelsey gets more involved week by week, so I still have the Chiefs winning this game, but the Chargers always seem to find a way to keep this game close, even when their talent level is way behind. And Justin Herbert, don't know. So I still have Chargers to cover this game. I'll have a lot of individual prop plays and things. I mean, I think you could take Rashee Rice's over almost every single week. He's going to get 15 targets in the first quarter at the rate that they throw it to him. And Carson Steele looked pretty decent in his first official game as the lead running back against an Atlanta defense that gave him a lot right up through the middle, and he runs hard. So yeah, Chiefs win, Chargers cover.
Yeah, I tend to agree there. Not a play for me, but yeah, I can see the reasoning makes perfect sense.
Yeah. That's all my game plays. Let's go into a couple parlays or things you've got, and then we've got a couple questions here from some listeners to finish up with.
Yeah, I'll give out the teaser again this week. We missed last week, so we're 2-1 now. The Dolphins really cost us. This week, 13-point super teaser on DraftKings, -140. I'm going Colts, Lions, Commanders, Ravens. That is my teaser for this week. Lock it in. And my round robin 5-man TD parlay is going to be a little bit juicier this week for pricing. I'm going Braylon Allen, Aaron Jones, T. Higgins, Schultz, and Rome Odunze to all score TDs. All plus money, big payout. Your $20 investment here can return you about $1,700 if it all hits.
That's pretty solid. Well, let's lead into questions because you kind of just answered one of the first questions I have here with that TD round robin. And that is, how many should you include in a TD round robin to feel good with? Is it 4? Is it 5? Is it 6? What's too many? What's too little?
I do 5. For me, 5 is a perfect sweet spot, especially if you just want to have a little fun. Like I said, it's a $20 play, and it's only a $20 play because I put a little bit more on the all 5 scoring. But if you play it by 3s and 4s, and put $1 each, it's a $15 investment if you did it that way.
Yep.
By 3, 4, 5.
And I've been saying this each week. I think this is a fun one to do, even if you're not throwing much at it. Because last week I did a silly 12-man one and won one of them because I played them at a couple different spots. So it's a lot of fun. TDs are down as a whole in the NFL compared to the last couple of seasons. But it seems like each week you can find 3 or 4 guys that you feel pretty good with. And if you don't get all 5 to hit, that's okay, depending on how you play it. 2 other questions I got, and we kind of somewhat answered this, but let's go to which 3-0 team or who loses their first this weekend. Which undefeated team in the NFL right now is in the prime spot to be bet against?
Oh, this is a tough one. For me, I'm split between the Steelers and Bills. Forcing me to choose, believe it or not, and this is this, and if it's your first time listening, I'm normally a huge player on the Bills and Josh Allen, so it's hard for me to say. But if you're forcing me to choose one, I'm going to say the Bills lose their first game this week.
Yeah. I think matchup wise, for sure, they've got the toughest opponent. I guess the other one you even talked about is Seattle. They play the Lions Monday night.
It's true.
Ooh, that's interesting. I think I'm going to go Minnesota as the first 3-0 team to lose on the road at the Packers. I think even with Malik Willis, the Packers and Josh Jacobs' run game, they just control the clock. They've got 4 or 5 different weapons. Each week it's a different receiver getting involved. Their defense has been pretty solid, despite the fact that the Vikings defense is good. And Justin Jefferson's still Justin Jefferson. So I'll lean Vikings to be the team to bet for their first loss. And said you are leaning the Bills to be the team to lose first.
Yep.
Okay. Then on the flip side, the other one I got was which winless team is best position to be bet on to win their first game this weekend?
I can't believe I'm saying it, but again, if I'm going to have to choose a team, I'm going to choose the team that has crushed everyone's survivors' lives this year, and I will hold my nose and pick Cincinnati going, there's no way they go 0-4. That would be my answer.
See, this is where I'm going to go the opposite of what I said earlier in this episode of I don't trust the Bengals. But if you have to say I can only place one bet on an 0-3 team to win this weekend, it's still the Bengals. The Bengals are the best winless team in the league. If you have no confidence in the Bengals, you don't want to touch it, then I think the next team I would look at is probably Tennessee. Just because Miami, even with all the offensive firepower, no quarterback, they could go in and win that game. I don't trust Jacksonville. They find a way to lose everything. Houston had a disappointing loss this last weekend, so I think they'll be ready to go. So yeah, I think I'd go Tennessee second, Bengals first.
Yeah.
That's all I had. Did you have anybody send anything your way this week?
That is it.
Okay, well, like we said, you guys can send us questions every single week, whether it's fantasy football plays, start them, sit them, trade them, cut them, waiver pickups, whatever. If you got any games you want some intel on ahead of time, let us know either in the comment section here below. If you follow us over on Twitter at KCSA Pod, you can send them there. You can also send us an email at kcsauthority@gmail.com. But we would love to get some more questions from you guys each week, whether it's betting strategy tips, certain game style plays. Like we said, as we get into the NFL season, we'll do some more crossover stuff with some other sports and parlays and things like that, and maybe dive into some more betting strategy. But yeah, thanks again for checking out this one. Again, if you haven't done so yet, you can go check out the Week 5 college football best bets episode, which is also up currently. And then stay tuned, follow us on Twitter at KCSA Pod once again, so you can find all of our weekly best bets, both college football and the NFL. That'll wrap it up for this one. Good luck this weekend. As always, happy betting, and we will catch you guys in the next episode.